everybody. We're down here at the Quarantine Studios in Cherryville, North Carolina. Infectious Collectibles. Actually, I don't think I've seen that before. We're going to do a tour today with William. His partner Paul may be here, but Paul's a little camera shy, so you probably won't see him. You may hear him, but you probably won't see him. We got a couple friends come down here with us to check this out. One of them you're probably definitely going to hear do a little screams in the background. He is a massive Quarantine fan. Let's go in and see what we got. Over here we got Mr. William.
How's it going?
One of the main guys behind Quarantine Studios. Okay, well, obviously we got to talk about the
Our Lady Death. Yeah, this is the original Lady Death that we did for Coffin Comics. This is just called the Seductress. This is a one-off, actually. This is like a bronze variant of this particular statue. So one of one. That's the only one that exists. It was a piece we wanted to think about it, maybe actually do it in a bronze piece and release it this way. Just hasn't happened as of yet. So one of one there, but the statue that is out in the wild is back here. It's a color version. In fact, that's our lineup for the Coffin Comics right there. So we have the Seductress here, Lady Death, the Seductress, Lady Death Reaper, the deluxe edition, with, that was the engineering marvel that took over a year to get out. And then La Muerta, and of course Hell Witch. And you'll notice the Hell Witch is a little bit larger scale. She's actually one scale up. That's 1/5 scale. We just felt like we needed to beef her up a little bit because she was kind of squatted down, kneeling down on the base. So made her a little bit larger, but still it works with the rest of the lineup there.
Now I like all these, obviously. And I've seen now apparently she's sold very well.
Yeah, she sold out.
Yeah, that's what I was.
She's gone.
I heard that the other day from Victoria. Something about that one. I think that's probably my favorite.
Kind of speaks to you, doesn't it? Yeah, there's a lot of details in all of them, but that one really does. It has a lot of textures. You got a lot of textures to work with here. With this one, you've got most of the skin and the vinyl, but here you've got lots of different textures. You got leathers and metals and different types of leathers and things. So a lot of different texture and stuff going on there. It's really cool.
Now, I did notice somebody did something the other day. There's a red variant of her in the comics, or there's an action figure where she's red and black. Are y'all going to do that, or any?
I haven't.
Have you seen that one, or am I just?
I haven't personally seen it. And not to say it doesn't exist, but who knows? We'll see. We're not up to that license yet. We're trying to take them in stages here. So we did the original Lady Death. We got a second Lady Death, and then with this one, because it was deluxe, we also did one without, which is a little more affordable for folks. It just doesn't have the skeletons, got a little smaller base, that sort of thing. But she is exactly the same. So we did that. So now it's time to move on to one of the others. I don't know if that'll be La Muerta or what. We also have a Lady Satanus coming out.
Yes, I remember.
So she's in the works right now, and she'll go in there. So who knows? We'll probably revisit one of the others in the very near future. So
and this is a Deja Torres. Did you get a good shot out of that one? I know when we talked about putting these in one of the stores, that was one that I looked and I'm like, they're not really for children. They're not vulgar in any way, but they are very.
No, and our motto on that is if Paul or I wouldn't show it to our moms, we wouldn't produce it.
Well, we have a friend of ours that y'all will probably hear him scream soon as he comes in the door, just to be quite honest with you. And his mom actually took his Lady Death. That's her.
Yeah.
I mean, she just loved it to death. And just a little bit of backstory. Y'all know I work for a toy store. Well, Tori runs it, toy store. And William came in there, year and a half, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2 years ago. Yep.
And I know there's statues. I'm not personally a statue guy, but he come in, we got to talking. He's like, yeah, I'm Quarantine Studios down the road. I'm like, Cherryville? and started seeing some of his stuff. And we struck up a friendship. Just great people. I met his wife and one of your sons, I believe.
Yeah, probably both of them. If it's
Both
a show,
of them?
yeah,
I'm getting old.
that's all
And
right.
I met his business partner. I do swear, if we can get him to say, "Hey," you actually believe he exists. That was Paul. He does exist. He's not a figment of William's imagination. But no, I saw some. I think one of the first ones I saw was actually, I think it was La Muerta. That may be why I kind of gravitate toward that one. But I mean, I love John Carter.
Oh yeah,
From Earth. I mean, the books. I wish they'd make more movies, but I actually read the books. I love the books. The Deja Torres is great, and that's I'm drawing a blank.
This is Vampira.
She looks like, is it Morticia?
Yeah, it's a similar look. And in fact, if you either read the book or watch the documentary about it, this character was derived from that. The actress that played Vampira actually went in and auditioned for an Addams Family. I don't know if it was going to be a television show or a movie at the time, but it was based on the Charles Addams comic book strip of the Addams Family. And so that was her kind of idea of what Morticia would look like. Unfortunately, Miss Nurmi, the actress, Mila Nurmi, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She did not get that role, but they took kind of some of those ideas that she had of the costume. So she just ended up with this Vampira thing. And I mean, it went crazy. It was awesome.
I mean, seriously, I thought it was Morticia Addams at first.
Yeah. I think both Morticia and then, of course, from the Munsters, all of that was kind of derived from this. Yeah, Lily Munster. Yeah, all of this was derived from that. So, yeah, it was great stuff. If you haven't seen that documentary, I'll check it out.
And he's got stuff in here that I didn't even know they made. I mean, now these aren't licensed. These are just y'all made them or did y'all license and do these?
Yeah. So let me give you a little history about Quarantine Studio. So we go back a couple of years.
Okay.
And we started off in the garage kit industry, and that is basically people who are creating statues and model kits that manufacturers just won't do. They won't touch them for whatever reason.
Just to interrupt for a minute, because this is a question, because we just talked about this before. How did you do model kits back then?
Yeah,
that's pre 3D print. That's pre.
Oh yes,
everything.
Absolutely. Well, what we would do, and some of these that you're seeing up here, in fact, all of these are hand sculpted. So we hire an artist who works in clay, polymer clay usually, and they can get even that level of detail even back then.
Jesus.
They would provide us that clay sculpture. In fact, I can show you one here in just a bit, but they would provide us that. We could take it apart, put it in pieces, key the parts, and then mold in silicon rubber. And we would mold and then cast these. And that's why it was called a garage kit, because a lot of these guys were producing it in their garages. You don't want the smell of that resin. It's a polyurethane resin. And it's really rough stuff.
I honestly, if you wouldn't have told me that, I mean, because the detail on these is.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. I
mean, you got her little fangs in there.
That's what happens when you hire talented artists. So
I just didn't think that would, because I always wondered that, because I'm thinking, okay, nowadays that's not a big deal. You can 3D print this. Well, they do 3D print and stuff, and they sell kits.
Mm-hmm.
I wondered about that. I think we talked about that at Mad Monster briefly. Yeah, y'all starting out in the garage. That's just takes me a minute to get my head wrapped around that.
And that's what we did. So, and like I said, that was probably like mid-late 90s, early 2000s is where we got started with that. And we started, it all started with this guy right here.
Death Dealer.
That is the Death Dealer. It's at least our take on it. That is a licensed piece. That was our first licensed piece there. That is, we licensed that actually when Frank Frazetta was still alive. So we worked with Frank and his wife, Ellie. So that tells you how far back that was. But yeah, that was the first one for us as a pre-painted statue. We have been doing the garage kits for a while. And, you're selling maybe 100 pieces. That's really about it. So 100, 200 pieces,
That wasn't your full-time job?
No. Okay. It was a hobby for us. And what we saw is that while we did great with it, producing the kits and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we were outpacing a lot of our competitors. Most competitors would have 1, maybe 2 releases a year. Yeah. We were doing 6 and 8 a year. And so we were kind of outpacing everyone else. And what we started seeing is that more and more of our clients would go to trade shows and stuff, and they would come in and say, like, yeah, I really like it, but I don't know if I can put it together.
Exactly.
I don't know if I got the skill set to do that.
I've heard that quite a bit from people that saw our Bad Monster video, and they're like, well, me personally, I could probably put it together.
Yeah.
There's no way in the world I could paint it and have it come out. I'm not good with roller, spray can, or paintbrush.
Sure.
Sure. Horrible.
Well, and we saw that, and we saw the trend of people who they don't want to assemble. Yes. They just want to paint. They want to take it out of the box, start painting. So we moved over into the statue industry with the pre-painted statue. And once you move into that industry, you really need to start licensing the pieces, because now you're manufacturing on a little bit larger scale.
Yes.
For the most part, the garage kit industry, people don't bother with you as far as the licenses. There's just not enough there.
Yeah.
And so, but we started out on the right foot, got that licensed, and went that direction. And we still keep our roots in that garage kit industry.
I noticed y'all had some, was it military at the Mad Monster?
Yeah, we
the same.
Yeah, our little bus right here. Yep.
Yeah, the guys over here. Yeah.
And you can even look up top there, and you can see La Muerta up there, unpainted.
Yeah, we have one of those, and yeah.
So
like I said, I like it. I'm just going to have to con him into painting it for me. But
we have all of our statues that you can purchase pre-painted. You can also purchase as an unpainted, unassembled kit.
Yeah.
And I can show you one of those, unassembled. And I can show you one of those here in just a moment, so you'll see what you would be getting.
Like I said, I'm fairly handy, but
yeah,
if you paint the parts and then we put it together.
Well, and that's the cool thing about ours is, like I said, we started seeing that in the garage kit industry. Guys and gals not wanting to assemble and seam and work with all those stuff. Yeah. They just really wanted to paint. And so what we started doing was we started offering it this way. You could buy it painted or unpainted. And we still do that to this day. Our latest releases, you can get that unpainted. In fact, I have one of these over here unpainted. I'll show you what you would get if you bought it as a model kit.
I'm going to be honest. And there are people out there that can paint.
Yeah.
I mean, he came to a show we did last month, and he painted
Nosferatu.
Yes, Nosferatu. He painted it in like 20 minutes. No airbrush. Like, he sucks. Okay, let's get that out there, because I can't come anywhere near that. But and I noticed the Frankenstein up here. That's a Mary Shelley.
That's a Mary Shelley Frankenstein. Yeah, that is a hand sculpt as well. That's one of our really early kits.
That one just looks. And I saw Frank over here as well.
Yep.
I'm a huge Frankenstein fan. We got a lot in common, you know.
Sure.
I ain't got extra parts yet, but. And I know, because we've talked about this before, y'all did some innovations in the industry, because we talked about the magnets.
Well,
this the one that I'm thinking it is?
Well, most all of our kits have magnets now, but yes, we did innovate that. The Frank you were talking about there. In fact, if you want to come over here, you can get a look at this. So this was one of our earlier kits. In fact, all of these up here are some of our earlier kits, and this was offered as a pre-painted statue. And so back then, the way you did this was you had a metal pin, and up in there is a socket. And a lot of times the socket has a little silicon sleeve, just like a little silicon tube that will grab a hold of it. Sometimes they don't work as well, so you use a little bit of blue tack. But that's how these things were assembled. And so any of those parts were done that way. And what I was finding is that I would go to these different shows, and I would have to take apart our piece, box it up, get there, put it together, and hopefully things didn't break
or wear out that
socket. Yeah. So what we started doing was, and I can't take full credit for it because I was actually at one of those shows, and it was an IPMS show, which is International Plastic Modeler Society. And what they do is all the tanks and the airplanes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm into that as well. And
there's no room at his house either.
No, there isn't. There was a gentleman that had a rather large scale aircraft there that he had built, and the canopy, the glass that goes over the pilot, and it was an old World War II aircraft. and I want to say it was like a German BF 109. And anyway, beautiful glass canopy. There's a huge thing, and I'm looking inside the canopy, and I was like, "Wow, you really did the detail." And he goes, "Oh yeah, check it out." And he just yanked the canopy off of it, and I just went in shock. I was like, "Gosh, these things are fragile." And so I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty amazing." I said, I said, "Now you got to balance that canopy back on there." And he goes, "No, watch." And he just moved close to it and let go of it, and it clicked. And I was like, "What in the world?" He goes, "Yeah, I used rare earth magnets in there." So not only did the canopy click, it clicked in my head. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Why aren't we using this? Why can't we use this? So I kind of tinkered with it for the prototypes. And then I reached out to the factory that manufactures this stuff for us and said, "Hey, listen, is this something that's possible?" And they said, "Well, nobody's ever done it before, but yeah, let's see."
Yeah,
so they did it.
Because they have to embed the magnets.
Right.
And
so
I'm assuming
now,
they have to embed them the proper direction. Because I mean,
right.
you get,
they have polarity.
Yeah, they would shoot the sword the other way. Now, does that ever happen? Do they ever get the magnets backwards?
No.
So I wondered about that too, because I've seen some demonstrations with the polarity.
Yeah, they'll force each other away.
Yeah, but they were using it for one of them Rube, you know what I'm talking about, the Rube devices.
Right. Elaborate device.
Yeah, they were using the magnets to kind of, and I was like, and it got me thinking. I was like, well, I wonder if William ever runs into that problem. They go to put a head on, it goes. Psh.
Yeah. No, so far so good. But yeah, like our more modern statues, we've integrated that, and so the factory, there's still a locating key to locate the part.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the key and in that socket are magnets, and so it will just attach. You just kind of get it in place, and it attaches itself, and it'll just stay right there.
And I actually got this is the Templar that has the zombie head.
Yep, this Templar has removable heads. There's 3 different heads for it. There's the helmeted, an unhelmeted version that's human, and then a zombie head. Yep,
because this is actually the first one. This is why me and William started talking about this originally. He brought one of these to our shop that he'd found in the bowels of the place. And I was messing with it, and it seriously took it out of my hand when I got close to the head. I'm like, whoa, what the? And that's when we started talking about this. Because some of the stuff, I mean, I knew you did these, obviously. Yeah. I knew you did the Frazetta Death Dealer.
Right.
And that's
Conan.
His Conan? Or is that, okay. I knew you did those. I didn't know you did a Hellboy. I knew you did the Adam West bust. Right. I saw that.
Yeah, some of these are garage kit from our garage kit days. A lot of the smaller ones are.
It really amazes me that y'all can, and I don't mean any disrespect, but that y'all can get that much detail out of such garage areas.
Right.
Out of a garage.
Right. A hand tool.
Pretty much. It just amazes me.
Yep.
That's absolutely, I mean, the Batman. Why does this Batman look familiar?
I don't know.
The style.
Oh, well, yeah, it's kind of more of a Frank Miller style.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay.
And we didn't produce that one. So that was somebody else, and we were collectors of other people's work too. So
I get that. That's not
who, the Frog?
Men in Black, yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Kind of reminds me of that one guy they're hunting down.
Yeah.
That's just awesome.
Yeah.
So we got the magnet. So what did y'all do for a living when y'all were starting? And did you start with Paul?
Yes.
So Paul put up with you for 30 years too.
We might not be related by blood.
Yeah.
But that's my brother.
Oh,
I've known him forever.
I've got a couple.
So yeah.
I've got a couple of those. Well, that was one of the questions because these guys. Well, how long have they been? What did y'all do when you were first starting? What did you do to pay the bills? I mean,
well, we each have 9 to 5 jobs.
Yeah,
I'm a nerd, so I've always worked on computers in some form or fashion. I worked for Adobe for a number of years, flying around the country training on their software, that sort of thing. And so I do something similar now. You know, I'm still in that industry, but we do this a little, not quite full time, but almost there. So, but
do y'all still work day jobs?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
How the heck you do that?
Well, Paul does most of the heavy lifting. You know, so he's here managing licenses and doing stuff like that, and then I come whenever I can, and I do some of the work behind the scenes. So, you know, with 3D printing now, a lot of the file setup, things like that, can be done remotely. So
yeah, my son does the 3D stuff, and it's way above my head. I don't get any of it. I do wish. I know I've said this before, but like the Death Dealer leaning on his axe. I think we just talked about that in the 3D print. The chainmail is actually moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know they can't do it yet in resin, but hopefully someday, because that would just that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Now there are some technologies out there that would allow us to do that, but they are so far out there. They're so crazy expensive.
Oh yeah, I get it.
So they're just not available for the mass market yet. But it wasn't this one. It was actually a chainmail on this. It's even a finer chainmail, and it actually could move.
Because they look great. Now, what do we have in the older case over here?
The older case here, we got just a bunch of prototypes, and there's some books and things that we've collected over the years. That right there is the Death Dealer. That is the original polymer clay sculpt right there. So that's the bad boy that started it all.
Let me break in and just say this ahead of time. He stepped outside. No, Diego. Okay.
Yeah. And then the two on either side of them, those are also polymer sculpts. So they just have gray primer on them.
And you said something. One of them was done in clay, or originally, or
all of these are done in clay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You say
it's a polymer clay.
Plastic.
Yeah.
So
it's a polymer clay. Mm-hmm.
That's just amazing.
And so with polymer clay, it's not like the normal clay that you can work with. You can initially, and then it gets baked, and that hardens it up. And so then it's like a solid piece.
I think my daughter's done some stuff. Nothing anywhere near. She's made like badges and stuff. She does a lot of cosplay stuff. Again, no problem. But it's just, I mean, if you panned around the room, they've got a pretty good taste in art. And I know a lot of this is Frazetta stuff, but then obviously, I mean, you got Flash.
Yeah, we collect a little bit of everything. We got some movie posters in here and some original art, and we don't have all of it up yet. So.
And like I said, the Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks. Can you imagine them making that or Blazing Saddles?
Or Blazing Saddles, yeah. There's no way they can make that today.
We had a couple of things. We're getting a tour of the entire factory. Y'all aren't, sorry, but I had to clarify that. I did ask for questions from people because you get in here and you honestly, you get overwhelmed. I mean, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions we have from one of our followers, we ain't got many yet, but we're getting there, is what current licenses do y'all have? Obviously, you've got the, now is this Frazetta or is this?
No, this is Coffin Comics. Coffin Comics. From Toledo.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you've got the Frazetta.
And we have Frazetta. Mm-hmm.
And I know you're doing a massive Death Dealer on horseback.
We do. We have a 1/6 scale Death Dealer on horseback.
Yeah.
It's a very famous painting of Frank's.
And
it is massive. It's close to 2 feet long and just about as tall.
Okay.
You talk about a 1/6 scale character who is larger than life.
Yeah.
On a horse that is larger than life. He didn't ride your standard quarter horse. He rode a draft horse.
Or
a big draft horse. Yeah.
What's that one they use for the jousting? Bergeron. Yeah. Big, beautiful horses.
Big horse.
So what other licenses are you currently working on?
Well, the ones I can talk about.
Right.
So, Paul, what have we got that we can talk about?
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Robert E. Howard to come in. We got
the Conan stuff coming, for Robert E. Howard. Yeah, we got another Conan piece coming.
We also have Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead?
Yes, we talked about that. Yeah, we did. We talked about that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's some others we can.
Yeah, there's others. We're constantly, Paul does our negotiations for that. He's better at that end of it. I'm the artsy guy. I make it look pretty. He's the one that actually makes the deals and makes the magic happen.
There's generally.
Yeah.
Now, can we discuss the one that you shocked me with at the last show?
We got the Rocketeer.
No.
Not that one, the Master.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Folks, I'm telling you, you've honestly, these statues look great on film. They look great in picture, but until you get up to them, and I'm not a statue guy. A friend of ours, Diego, is a big statue guy, and that's when I originally got into it. And I told him we spoke to you, and he just about lost his stuff. I mean, he just Cortez, and he knew exactly who you are talking about. But you really can't appreciate the beauty of these pieces until you honestly see them in person. Now, is your storefront, is it open to the public? Do y'all sell out of this place? Do you?
We do. It's by appointment only.
Okay.
Right now. So
and you want to give that information so we can get?
Yeah, we can get you that so you can put it up on the video because it'd be easier to do that.
Absolutely,
we can get you that information. Yeah.
Now, it is appointment only.
Yep.
And Paul will most likely be here. Don't harass him. He's a nice guy. Paul won't answer. If you ain't got an appointment, Paul ain't answering the door.
That's true.
And there's a big ass dog in the back. He's sedated just so he don't eat the little people. But no, I mean, seriously, you really don't appreciate. I mean, the eyes on the Nosferatus, they're creepy as hell. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. You really don't appreciate this.
This place up is so that people can come in and see it in person. And you're right. It's one thing to see it. We have high-res photos on our website so you can zoom in on them and everything else. But it's a whole other thing when you can put that product in your hand and actually look at it. So that's one of the reasons we set this place up. We have, we sell direct, of course. And you're probably going to get your best deal that way. But we also have other resellers. So we have folks like that come in. And we needed a showroom to show them to, and for our licensors, if they want to come by and see.
Absolutely.
So we needed a place where we can make those negotiations and things like that. And really for people to come and hang out. That's why there is an arcade over on the other side. There are chairs and stuff here for people to just kind of sit and hang out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do that sort of thing. So.
And in all honesty, if you get somebody in here discussing a license with somebody and they obviously, if they are a creator like Frazetta's family, I know they're very protective over his creation. But once they come in here and you actually see y'all's work in person, I don't see y'all having any problem. I mean, the stuff is really, it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is coming from an action figure guy. I am not a statue guy. I don't own any statues.
Well, we got to change that.
Well, I'm trying to work on that, but it's one I'll never be able to show, so you'll never know. But no, the stuff they do is, I mean, the Mary Shelley just jumps out at you. And I'm a big reader, not as much as I used to be, but as soon as I seen that, I'm like, that's exactly from the pages of the book. I mean, that is exactly what I pictured when I was reading the book. And the stuff is just absolutely gorgeous. Well, folks, we're going to wrap this up. It's probably one of my longer videos. If there's any questions that I missed or anything, like I said, we've got a pretty good relationship with William, and I actually call him Will. I mean, y'all can't get there yet. I'm just doing the William because I'm on the TV, or the YouTube. If you do have any other questions that you would like to know, shoot them to us, and we'll get them. I'll get with William and see what we can figure out, and we'll just let you know. We may do a second video. He's always doing new stuff. I mean, like Paul said, he's got to be secret squirrel, which I totally get, but they're always working on new stuff. And I've personally heard some of the new stuff. I'm not ever going to say a word. They got some nice stuff coming. I mean, the Death Dealer itself, as y'all know, I work for part-time for a toy place, and I'm the one that's got to build something to hold that massive hunk of material. And Diego's worrying about my structural ability on this because it's a rather large thing. William, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Nice to know that you're still here. And like, share, and subscribe. Until later, see ya.